this should be a really quick video about how to use Google image search to enhance your drawings. You're going to have to forgive me. I'm eating my snack while I record this video, so just ignore any of those nice sound bites of munching and crunching. So just to start this video out, I'm going to draw a really quick and simple landscape just to give myself a background to work from. So I'm going to start by throwing in that horizon line. That's going to show me the difference between the sky and the ground, okay? I'm also going to add some trees back there way in the distance, okay? Just a tree line. Now you can even tell these trees apart. They're so far away. They all just blend together. It's a whole big forest, okay? Next, maybe I'll add in a really close-up tree. I gotta start it really low to the bottom of the paper if I want this tree to be close up to me. And maybe I'll give it a branch somewhere right about here. Who knows? And there we go. Obviously, I need to erase what's behind this tree trunk because trees aren't generally see-through. Go back over some of those edges. And there we go. So I've got a ground, okay, a field, got some trees way in the back, and I got one tree way close up. And I might decide that here I'm going to draw a wolf. Yeah, let's call it a wolf. So here's my issue. I don't know how to draw a wolf just off the top of my head. I don't know how its legs look, which I don't know if the front paws bend forward or if the back paws, I don't know what a wolf looks like well enough to draw one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my cellular device. I'm going to open up my internet browser, okay, and I am going to search here for wolf. When I search for wolf here, my Wi-Fi is busted. Gotta switch to data. Yes, come on. When I search for wolf here, I need to switch over to Google Images. I am on Android here, but Google's website tends to be the same across whatever platform you're using. So if you're using iPhone, it's going to look pretty close, but maybe not exactly like this. I'm going to go over to Images, so I'm just looking at pictures of wolves and not any websites about wolves. While I am looking for wolves, here's particularly what I'm looking for in my pictures. I'm looking for a picture of a wolf that's going to look normal standing out in this field. So if I picked this picture, I would have to figure out how I'm going to draw what I see here out in the middle of this field, even though this doesn't have the rest of its body. Okay, I could do that. I could have it peeking out from behind this tree, but it might be curious about where the rest of its body is on the other side. So I'm going to keep on looking, until I find a wolf that I think is going to look normal out in the field, okay? And I have decided that I'm going to draw this one right here, okay? So I click on it, it brings up a bigger picture of this wolf, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to save this to my phone. Now the reason that I'm saving this to my phone is I may not finish this drawing while I am sitting here in one sitting. Now, obviously, I am going to for this video, but if you were drawing this wolf, it may be that you start drawing the wolf and you don't get done with it in one class time. So, if you didn't save this to your phone, you might not ever be able to find this same picture of a wolf for a second time. And you'd have to erase and start all over with a new picture. But if I save this to my phone, I'll be able to find it again. So the way that Google has you save images from its image search, it changes quite a lot, and it changes depending on whether you're on Android or on iPhone or on an older device, okay? Usually, though, you can click and hold the picture, and you'll have this option to download the image. Now, something else you might want to keep in mind, if your picture looks blurry, you can click and hold and click Search Google for this image. When you search Google for this image, it's going to pull up something that looks like this, and you're going to select More Sizes. By clicking that, you are going to find every picture of that same wolf, well, every instance of that same photo that's on the internet. You're just going to find every one of them. This one shows up quite a few times, okay? And I am going to look and see if I can sort by size. If you can't sort by size, which you can usually sort by size on a desktop computer, okay, but sometimes if you're on mobile, just depending on what device you're using, you can't sort by size, but you do have this nice option to look for HD, and that's usually going to give you a good big picture anyway. So these are the highest quality images of this wolf that Google can find for me. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one here, and it does look pretty high quality picture, if I do say so. So now I'm going to click and hold. I'm going to download my image, and my phone gives me this nice little pop-up at the bottom to open. Your phone might save your picture to your photos, your camera roll, okay? It might save it into your files. If you can't seem to find a picture that you have downloaded like this, call me over and I can see if I can't help you find where your phone saved it to. Now, just for my own privacy's sake, I'm going to go dig for this one in my photos, but I'm going to do that off screen. So for me to find this picture, I had to go all the way into the files of my phone, which not a lot of people use the files on their phone. Usually it's just a photo or it's just online stuff. But your phone actually will save files just like your computer will, and usually you have to go into your app drawer and find the file folder button on your phone. And I'm not even sure what that looks like on iPhone, but I could probably help you if I had the phone in front of me to help you with. I'm also going to rotate my phone so that my picture is as big as it can be, okay? And I am going to get myself a sharp pencil and get to work. Alright, so now you've got your Google photo. Saved to your phone. And you have where you're going to draw it. But that doesn't always mean that you know what to do now that you're here. So whenever you are drawing from observation, which means you are looking at what you're going to be drawing, you're doing something called tracing with your eyes, okay? So that is where, when you look at this photo, you are going to follow the edges of it with your eyes. And you're going to try and copy that same line with your pencil. And for most of these pictures, the best way to start it out is by laying out where you generally want stuff to go first. So, for example, I might know exactly where I want this wolf's face to be in my drawing. So I'm going to start out by saying, okay, I want my wolf's face to go right here. So I'm just going to draw a circle, and it's kind of wide, like this wolf's face is kind of a wide circle, right onto my paper. From there, I can look and say, okay, so the circle of this wolf's face, the back comes right down off that circle, and it's almost flat right there. So I'm going to draw that line right off the top of that wolf's face, and then the back gets nearly flat right from there. And if I'm not sure how long to make that line there, I can say, okay, so this circle is about this wide, and the head of this wolf is about this wide, and that back is one wolf's head and a little bit. Okay, I'm using my pencil to measure. Exactly how wide is that wolf's head, and how does that compare to the body. So it's just about a little longer than that wolf's head. So I'm going to measure here. My wolf's head is this big. I'm going to make my body this big and then a little longer. So this line is probably just a little too long. I'm going to go ahead and make that curl down a little bit sooner. Alright. From there, I'm going to lay out the shape of this body. So I've got one line, and I want to go ahead and get that shape all filled in so that it's not just a spine with a head, okay? So I'm going to start down underneath that circle for the face, and I'm going to add in this line here and this line here. I like that fur detail, but I'm not going to start adding in those details until I know that I'm drawing them in the right spot, because otherwise I'll have to erase them and move them to the right spot. So I want to be sure the first time, so I'm going to make sure I lay out where, you see how I've got the underneath of that tummy, it curls up a little bit, so I've curled it up, okay? To draw it, it gets a little bit of a corner right here where it connects to the leg, so I've connected it to the leg right there with a corner. And I'm going to draw that leg down. This line here is straight up and down, but this line kind of goes out a little diagonal. So I'm going to make sure I try and get this line real straight up and down, and this line can come out kind of diagonal. Then there's a little paw. It's covered up a bit by snow. I'm not going to worry about the exact shape too much right now. Next, and the way that I know where to start that line is I'm actually going to look at that shape in between this wolf's legs. So in between this wolf's legs is this shape right here. I'm going to try and make sure I get a shape that's exactly the same width. So I've got this little point and then some curves down. So I've got a little point and some curves down, and I'm going to try to really get these things to match. Okay, same thing on this side of the leg. I'm going to really try to get those lines so it comes out a little bit and then goes down at a diagonal. So I did it out a little bit, coming down at a diagonal. Next, the line kind of goes up a bit, but if you notice, this back leg it's a real short distance from this leg to that leg. As a matter of fact, that's about the same distance as these front legs. So I'm not going to try and draw this leg all the way back here when it starts way down here, okay? This one way goes at an angle, and it's really a curved, that's a curved line right there. So I'm going to start way close. I'm going to draw that curved line down, okay? I'm going to go ahead and skip to this front leg because I think I need to go ahead and draw this fur here now. Okay, so about where that leg is, I'm going to draw that fur curving down. Okay, and then right there, it's looking like that's where that second leg starts. Okay, and it's also, that's also a real curved line. This line here and this line here are almost the exact same line. So when I draw them here, they look almost exactly the same. They only start to look different whenever you add in this line here and that little ankle and the rest of that foot, which I'm about to add in now. That little bit of ankle and the rest of that foot. On this part of the leg over here, it gets really thick back here. I bet that wolf is just super, super strong, real muscular wolf here. Go back, get that little ankle. There we go. As I've drawn these legs now, okay, I am noticing that this back of my wolf is really looking too long. That looks like it's not going to match up anymore. So I might want to go and reevaluate in my drawing. Reevaluate. Do I have the head the right size? Did I measure that distance of that back the right way? So if I take a look and I realize, oh, you know, maybe I did draw that back a little bit too long, see, because up here, the back is only just a little bit longer than the head width. But here, I've got it quite a bit longer than the head width. So I am going to go ahead and shorten that, but I checked it. I checked my measurements. So I know that I am good to go. Erasing in drawing does not mean that you have failed or that you need to start over. Erasing is just part of drawing. It's gonna happen. It's not a bad thing. It's not a dirty word, okay? It's just part of drawing. You gotta erase sometimes. From there, I've got just a little bit of tail that you can see right on down by that ankle. Okay, so here I've got most of the body right. I can't see the feet of my wolf in this reference, and I can choose to do one of two things for that. I can go ahead and add in snow on my drawing that also covers up the feet, or I can go and try and find another example of wolf feet that I can draw from. What I am going to do is I am going to add that snow that my wolf is standing in. Next, I need to go in and actually get that face on that wolf, because right now I'm just legs with a big empty circle. So if I take a look at this circle that I've got on my phone, I'm imagining this circle here. Right in the middle of that circle, halfway between this side and this side, that's about right in between that wolf's eyes. So that makes it pretty easy for me to find the middle here, and then to go ahead and add in my wolf's eyes. As I am drawing these in, I'm really paying attention to that shape of my wolf's eyes being this nice little almond shape. Okay, I gotta really pay attention to my wolf's eyes being almond shaped. lot of these smaller details are harder to see on my phone on the camera, so I apologize for that. But I wanted to give you an example. That's exactly how that you would do it in class. You may even end up zooming in a little bit whenever you do smaller details, and that is just fine. So whenever I get done drawing the eyes, the best way for me to go about drawing that snout on is to see if there are any lines that I can connect from the eyes to the snout. And if I really look closely, I can see that right on the eyes there's these dark shapes that go down and around that snout. And I'm going to utilize those to get that snout drawn and get it done in the right spot. There's also these lighter patches of fur right around their eyes, and that's going to help me kind of figure out how much space I have to draw the rest of the wolf face on here. The nose is just a little bit closer to this eye than this eye. If I drew a line straight down from here, I'd probably touch the nose on this side, but if I drew a line straight down from here, I'd miss it by just that much. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this nose in. If I look, that's my imagined circle ends right down here, so that nose has actually got to be pretty down low. Okay, pretty low down for that nose. Gonna draw that opening of the mouth right there, that nice little shape. Okay, gonna draw just that little bit of tongue. Pretty cute pupper here. And I'm going to draw that chin fur right underneath of it. Okay. Now might be a good time for me to get that bottom of the face, that white patch there is kind of the bottom of the wolf face, and then to erase this solid line I have and replace it with some fur marks. So I'm going to get this space right under the eyes that leads into the nose, and same thing on this side, and I'm even going to go ahead and start adding a little bit of that fur texture into this part of it. And I want to get this nice triangle shape where the ears go really good and clear. So I'm going to add that little bit of triangle where the ears connect, and then I'm going to erase this circle that I had helping me before, because that circle is really invisible and it's mostly that fur anyway. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to go back in with some nice little choppy fur marks. I'm not going to try and copy that fur exactly, I just want to give a good idea of that fur. I'm going to add that ear in, and I'm looking, this side of the ear is very round and this side is kind of straight, so I'm going to draw an ear that's a little round on one side and kind of straight on one side. And same thing for the other ear. I'm going to look really close, and it's kind of straight at the tops of this ear and kind of rounded at the bottom. So I'm going to see this ear is kind of straight, then a little rounded. At the bottom, there we go. And there's a bunch of fur up here above the ears too that I'm going to add in now. Adding in some more of this neck fur where it goes from really light fur to really dark fur. That's going to need a good distinction between those spaces, okay? And anywhere else on the wolf body where there's that distinction between the colors of fur, I might want to add in that texture. So right here, you can follow this line on the leg all the way up from here around that little detail and all the way up. And I'm going to go ahead and draw that in with my fur texture, which is really just a kind of scribbly zigzag, just all the way up. And then I can erase this line here where that leg attaches, because that line is just kind of imagined too. So this drawing isn't quite finished. I could keep going like this for another hour or so, but I am not going to. I just want you guys to get a good idea of how to look at a picture of something and figure out how you're going to draw from it. Okay? How to draw from a picture that you have found. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, find me in real life and ask them. All right. See you later.